Hello again, everyone. Aron Kaufman powered fast and loud for 6 years. He built impossible cars in an impossible amount of time, showing fans impressive skills. In 2017, he turned down millions of dollars. People who watched didn't see the real reason. Things were going very badly between him and Richard Rawlings behind the cameras. It had to do with money. Someone stole the creative power. Aron found out that he was training the person who would take his place. The last lie happened during a dangerous truck build, and someone almost died. Everyone at Discovery Channel was shocked by what he did next. He was born in Crowley, Texas, on January 26, 1982. Growing up, he didn't have much. He made only $8.50 an hour as a mechanic, and his name was David Gerald Kaufman. In 1992, the family lived in a small trailer park. Aron and his younger brother Jared had to share a small room. Even though things were bad, something strange began to happen. Aron took apart their broken lawnmower with a kitchen knife and a screwdriver when he was only 10 years old. He did more than just fix it. He made it work better. This time, it cut faster and harder than before, with 15% more power. You weren't lucky. Every night, he taught himself in secret by reading his dad's repair guides. Sometimes he fell asleep with the dirty pages still in his hands. By the time he was 8, he knew how to drive his grandfather's old 1968 Ford F-100 pickup truck. That truck was doing more than just moving things. He saw it as his own little world and a source of life there. He would always remember the smell of gasoline and oil. Things would change after that truck. Aron made his own workshop in the backyard when he was 12 years old. Using lawnmower engines and shopping carts, he made go-karts. Oh, those weren't toys. On clean streets, some of them could go 35 miles per hour. Using a stolen stick welder, he taught himself how to weld. However, his first real accident happened. In December 1994, he was trying one of his homemade exhaust systems when it went off. He needed 23 stitches in his arm because it was so badly burned by molten metal. For 6 weeks, his strong right arm could not do anything. Aron had already hidden more tools in an old shed behind the trailer when his mom came to take them away. That same week, just 3 days before Christmas, the family had to pay their hospital bills with the $200 they had saved for gifts. He would always remember that. Aron stopped coming to school when he was in high school in 1998. In one school year, he missed 127 of the 180 expected days. He wasn't being lazy, he had work to do. For only $4.25 an hour, he fixed cars in Dallas County auto shops that weren't legitimate. 3 professional mechanics told him it was important for him to redo the transmission when he was 16. With his first real paycheck of $200, Aron finished it in 11 hours. After looking through his locker one day, the school director found $1,400 in crumpled bills from repairs done over the weekend. People in Crowley usually make that much in a month. Because Aron had a skill, his shop teacher helped him stay in school by lying about his attendance. With a flashlight, Aron would sneak out of his bedroom at night to fix engines. He had oil all over him and burns on his arms when he got home. They thought he was hurting himself, but there was more going on than that. I dropped out of college after only 1 semester when he was 18 years old, even though he had a 3.7 GPA and a $3,200 a year grant. His dad was totally broken. He worked extra hours to pay for school, but Aron already knew what he wanted to do. He was tired of school. His engineering professor said that Aron's plan for a custom transmission wasn't possible, even though Aron had built it himself with $50 worth of junk parts. Nobody knew that Aron was already $4,800 in debt from getting money from loan sharks to buy tools. The interest rates were 28%. His dropping out meant that for 3 months, the family's trailer had no powers. They lit candles at night, while Aron looked for repair jobs that paid enough to keep them going. In September of that year, 1999, Aron did something very dangerous. He rode a dirt bike that he had changed in some way. 78 horsepower went into it, a lot more than the 46 it started with. He crashed as he tried to jump over a 15-foot ravine going 65 miles per hour. His right wrist was broken in 3 places. The doctors had to put a cast on and 2 metal pins in the bone. $8,000 were spent on the operation. It was too expensive for the family. They needed to get rid of the car they only had one of. This is the same 1968 Ford F-100 that began it all. In 2002, something amazing took place. Richard Rawlings and Aron met in a Dallas garage when Aron was only 20 years old. Richard liked how Aron worked, so he gave him a job at his new business, Gas Monkey Garage. This was the beginning of a 15-year relationship that would change their lives drastically. Aron took over as the main maker. Gas Monkey had been around for a while, but Aron's steady hand and clever mind made it real. Even though he was fixing cars, he was also building a brand that would soon be on TV. In 2008, Aron's first big job was to fix up a rusty 1968 Chevrolet Corvette. He put together new exhausts and repaired the Ford 27 big block engine by hand. After only $8,500 to buy and fix, the car went for $5,800. Making $50,000 showed that Aron wasn't just a gearhead. He was great at business. Next, in 2010, after 2 years, he did something even crazy. He combined a 1970 Dodge Charger body with a Viper V10 engine. They almost lost the shop because it was so hard. The computers didn't work with each other. As the prices rose, Rawlings considered ending the business for good. After putting the car together, it won Best Modified Classic at the Dallas Autorama. Aron mostly used parts to fix up a 1972 Mustang in 2011. He used a 351 Cleveland engine from a wrecked Torino and seats from 3 different cars. But when safety checks showed that some parts were too worn out, Aron and Rawlings got into a big fight. Aron told him that he cared more about making money than keeping people safe. Brought about their first big fight and a whole new set of rules. Halloween 2011 was the most dangerous time. Aron took his 1969 Chevy C10 that had been changed to a speed strip. The monster truck had 720 horsepower. At over 6,800 revolutions per minute, the engine blew up during one run. Metal flying all over the place. It happened to Maria Rodriguez. She was hit in the shoulder. It took 18 stitches to fix her. Gas Monkey was paid $75,000 in damages. The insurance company said they would not pay for it. He personally paid her bills. Because of that accident, he couldn't race for 2 years. It all began in June 2012 for Aron Kaufman with Fast and Loud. Right from the start, it pushed him to the edge of what he could do. The first show had him fixing up a 1931 Model A Ford in just 9 days for a big swap meet. People didn't see how much he had to pay to make that happen. He and his team made 12 cars in 24 weeks during season 1 alone, and they often worked more than 110 hours a week. Because Aron was so tired, he once passed out in a car while cameras were rolling. Using a hose behind the garage, he had to take a shower. Also, he spent 14 hours a week just getting from Fort Worth to Gas Monkey Garage in Northwest Dallas. He looked such a tired actor in some parts that he could hardly keep his eyes open. It was clear that they could not keep going at this rate, which it didn't do by 2016. 2013 was one of the most trying years. Richard Rawlings and Dennis Collins bought a seriously damaged 1991 Ferrari F40 for $400,000 after the team took it on. Was only 7,148 miles away when the accident happened. With help from Ferrari experts, Aron took charge of the rebuild and took the car apart fully. They made improvements to the engine, flywheel, clutch, and even the race wheels. Behind the scenes, though, there were fights because Richard kept changing Aron's mind. Black paint was used to finish the car, instead of the Ferrari color. It was the garage's most famous build, but it also made something very clear. Aron and Richard had very different visions for how cars should be made. In 2016, things went downhill. It was Aron's job to build the De Tomaso Pantera EcoBoost, their hardest job ever, and he thought it went too far. Aron said that the car was way beyond what could be done properly in time for a TV show. He was constantly under pressure to cut costs, even though he was only a couple of weeks behind schedule. It had a 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine with full race racing turbos that made 472 horsepower and 498 lb-ft of torque. The numbers didn't bother Aron, though. He was concerned about the job. It went against everything he stood for. But then he realized that the cars he wanted to make were too big for TV. That project turned out to be the turning point. Aron also started having major personal problems around that time. The fame was getting to him. Due to panic attacks, he thought about giving up in the middle of the season. He said the stress was too much. It made things worse between him and his girlfriend, his workers, and even his dogs. His appendix was removed in an emergency at one point, But he went back to work just a few days later because the cameras had to keep running. His old coworkers said they worked so many hours that they had forgotten what normal life was like. Aron was falling apart on the inside, but people only saw the cool, calm mechanic with the beard on TV. That same Pantera build came back as a pain point in 2016. Even though Aron had worked hard, Richard told him he was late. They argued behind closed doors about how much they could really get done with a small budget and short time frame. Aron said Richard was cutting corners that would lower the level of the build. It was becoming clearer that the TV story was winning over the work. Finally came to a head in 2017 during a busy motorbike build. Richard wanted to be in charge of the whole project and kept telling Aron what to do in front of the team. Within seconds, Aron locked the door to his office and moved away from the group. Then, one day, he just ended shooting and left the set. Discovery Channel had to stop work for 3 days to try to calm things down. That wasn't the only time it happened. Things had been getting worse for months. Aron had had enough of their friendship turning into a business deal. Things got even worse after that. Aron was getting paid a lot less than he should have been, according to papers that were leaked in 2016. Fans thought he was the heart of the show. Sources close to the show said that Aron's work was responsible for 80% of its success, but that wasn't reflected in his deal at all. Richard made a lot more money than he had in 2021, when his net worth was about $3 million. Aron found out later that he was even training mechanics to take his place. The last offense was that he understood that he had been cheated out of money and ideas. He finally called it a creative jail in 2017. According to a podcast, Aron's garage was now more like a TV set than a place to build cars. It was all made for a camera, not the craft. Quality was less important than excitement now. He was very sad about it. He said that he was stuck in a system where stories were more important than skill. Another deception happened that same year. During the building of a custom semi-truck, warned the team about important safety problems. For good video, Richard wanted the test drive to be over quickly. It almost happened to the truck on the road. Aron was angry and said he wouldn't work if lives had to be put at risk for numbers. He thought that his name was being linked to risky shortcuts that he didn't believe in. Then, Aron quietly wrote on Facebook on March 6, 2017, that he was leaving Gas Monkey Garage. Surprised fans. For more than a year, he had been making plans to leave. He said that for months he had been checked out. It read more like a breakup letter than a job offer. According to him, the last 5 years have been like 20. Fans were filled with feeling. Nothing was expected, but the drama didn't stop there. Richard Rawlings was sued for $6 million in June 2018. From the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. He was charged of trying to stop a sale worth $3.5 million. Aron became involved because he was a key witness. Behind the scenes, the case showed how badly things had gone wrong. Both sides solved the case in August 2019, but the damage had already been done. People were excited when Aron started his own show in 2018 called Shifting Gears, but it didn't last long. The ratings went down a lot. Aron looked like he was hired. He came clean to his friends and said he was tired. Reviews were not nice. Some people said the show was dull and Aron wasn't as lively without Richard. It was over after 12 shows. Next, there was another incident. In 2019, he was sued by clients for leaving behind a Ferrari F40, a 1969 Corvette L88, and a Shelby Super Snake Mustang that were worth $300,000. He took big payments but finished them before leaving. Another scam case later led to the seizure of one of the Ferraris. His image was badly hurt by the lawsuits. Things took one more strange turn in 2020. Richard tried to get Aron back by offering to double his old pay and give him full creative freedom. This was shown in emails that were leaked. It was up to him to come back, according to Richard. Wasn't even blinking. Basically, he told her to pick TV. Picking building. That is what makes it different. He finished walking away. That's what most people thought when Aron Kaufman quit fast and loud in 2017. But no one thought his first chassis build for his new business, Arclight Fabrication, would cause such a stir in the industry. He spent $150,000 to make a special chassis for old Ford F-100 trucks and sell it. Everyone was shocked by that price, Howie Sossler, because most full F-100 builds were selling for less than half that, usually between $30,000 and $60,000. Although Aron wasn't any builder, he had become famous for his metalworking skills after 15 years at Gas Monkey Garage. He made special mounts, suspension geometry, and welding that made it look like it belonged on a fighter jet. It confused competing businesses. Others said he was just charging super high prices because he was famous. The truth was that his work did look like nothing else out there. Bad things happened next. A fire broke out at Arclight Fabrication in 2019 and destroyed goods worth $50,000. Losing money wasn't the worst part. That's how it went. Investigators found that the fire was caused by bad wiring, which Aron had put in himself. He didn't pay a qualified electrician to wire the addition, so he saved money by doing it himself. It was almost fatal for the shop because of that mistake. Before the weekend, an employee left welding equipment plugged into the wall. It flooded the circuit, which caused the sparks to catch fire. It was lost some rare Ford parts from the 1960s, some of which Aron had been saving for decades. Even more shocking was the fact that Arclight didn't have full insurance. He paid for the whole loss himself, kept the business open, and kept orders coming in. But it took weeks off his schedule and cost him more than just money. In 2020, things didn't get better. That same year, Aron sold electric conversion kits for the same old cars that made him famous. Instead of cheers, the move caused anger. Costing between $35,000 and $45,000, the kits came with Tesla Model S batteries. However, Ford enthusiasts weren't happy. Some people said he was messing up history. Aron got into a 45-minute fight at the 2020 SEMA show with car historian Jerry Hathaway, who said the changes were religious. More than 500 negative emails came in. There were people who canceled their orders. Well over $200,000 worth. Groups said they would not work with him. After that, though, something strange happened. A lot of younger people bought things. 50 people put down deposits for electric builds in just 6 months. Because of the fuss, it was clear that the market had split. Was now balancing between restoring old things and coming up with new ideas for the modern world. In 2022, an interview behind the scenes showed something Aron had been careful to hide. In 2018, it was only 60 days until he shut down Arclight for good. When he quit the show, he lost the $35,000 he was getting paid for each episode, and his new business had $750,000 in loans to get started. Sales didn't go as fast as planned. His own race car, a 1963 Ford Falcon built for the Pikes Peak hill climb, had to be sold. For $65,000 just to pay the staff. 5 banks turned down his loan requests. Ratios of debt to income had grown to over 300%. Things got better after the company got $400,000. This came from a relationship with Restamod Air. Within that time, Aron had already fired 4 workers and was almost broke. That story wasn't on TV, but it really happened. Things had changed a lot by 2024. Arclight manufacturing wasn't just staying alive, it was growing. Not cars, but wheels made the most money. Aron's special F100 wheel line brought in $2 million a year. There are 2 sets, $2,800 to $4,200. Influencers on Instagram began to use them, and soon they were being bought in Germany, Australia, and the UK. People still paid the shipping costs, which were between $800 and $1,200 per set. 78% of Arclight's income now comes from online sales, up from 23% in 2019. Aron turned a small store into a worldwide online business without any help from TV. However, there were personal problems that led to the success. According to rumors that started in 2020, Aron's marriage to Charlene Fleming was having problems. Before getting married in 2018, they had been together for over 10 years. Others, though, said that his 16-hour work days didn't leave much time for life at home. His ring was missing when he was seen at events. People who knew him well said that he was criticized for putting work ahead of family. These people went to therapy in 2021, but Aron didn't say anything in recent talks about staying together. He wasn't just having problems with relationships. Aron had a mental health problem after that. He said that the fame crash hurt a lot in 2023. He was on live TV one day. Suddenly, he was just a guy in a shop trying to sell chassis parts. He got scared a lot. He believed he was wrong. Almost a year, he went to therapy twice a week. Years of public pressure made him anxious, but EMDR treatments helped him deal with it. Over time, the fog cleared. The health scare then happened. In March 2021, Aron passed out in his shop while working alone late at night. His appendix was torn. He was found drunk at 3:47 a.m. in front of a half-built F-100 frame. He was taken to Dallas Presbyterian Hospital right away. Due to the illness spreading too far, the surgery took 6 hours. When he got peritonitis, a second emergency operation was done. Arclight ended for almost 4 months. About $340,000 was lost in business. That almost happened made Aron finally slow down. Added more workers and promised to never work alone at night again. Things seemed stable at first, but then his crypto purchases went down. Aron had invested $1.2 million in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even some altcoins with car themes by the end of 2021. 85% of it was gone by the middle of 2022. That took away $1.02 million from his savings. To pay for his shop in Dallas, he took out a mortgage and sold 2 very rare F-100s, one of which was a prototype from 1956 and was worth $180,000. He had to put off his dream video project on Route 66 for more than a year because of the loss. Aron finally came back to the public's attention in November 2024. He told everyone at the CMA show in Las Vegas about a new project that no one saw coming. In secret, he was buying cars that had something to do with old Route 66. He wanted to fix up a bunch of cars that were used in the original Route 66 TV show, like a 1949 Ford F1 and a 1962 Chevy Impala, teamed up with the Smithsonian and the National Park Service. Discovery Channel even asked if they could make the idea into a new show. More than $2.3 million was set aside for the project. A portion of the money came from crowdsourcing. Private owners gave the rest of them. It was the biggest job he had ever worked on. Around the same time, Arclight began to combine traditional style with new electric ideas. Starting in 2016, they sold electric builds that looked like old trucks but ran like Teslas. His shop in Austin turned into a mix of old-school metalworking and new battery technology. Because of this plan, he was at the head of a whole new market, hot rodding that is good for the environment. His wealth had returned to $8 million by 2023. Now, his shop in Austin could fix up whole F-100s for $75,000 to $150,000. Among other brands, he had deals with MagnaFlow and Cars, competed in races at Pikes Peak. Every day, he drove a modified 2004 Ford F-150 to try out new ideas, and he still ran his own show. To stay in charge, stay independent, and keep moving forward, every move was part of a bigger plan. Aron has been very open about how being on TV changed him. He said that he no longer wanted to work 110-hour weeks just to make drama for the cameras. There was more to his departure from Gas Monkey Garage than just work matters. He was building things that were important to him. He is still doing that today, even though he has had many failures and almost failed.